Hello and welcome to the next episode of this series, which is all about this Lego room and of course my life. Now this one is going to get emotional very quickly because you've seen by the name of the title, we're going to be making space for a brand new land in our theme park, which is going to be Jurassic Park. But to be able to get that in, everything that we are looking at right now all has to be pulled off for the tables to be spun round for it then to be put back, because that new T-Rex is over a metre long and I want it. So that is why we're going to be doing this. So this is basically going to be a video diary over a period of time, so we can just get the table set up in situ for all of the new Jurassic Park sets that are going to be coming out. And I don't have any idea whatsoever the best way to start. So with that being said, let's get to it. So there is going to be a lot to move on this one. And if you're confused with the reason why I've got to move the tables, is because the tables I have are a metre in length by 60 width. Now I need to have 2 tables just for this Jurassic Park display. Now I have the room for them because I can just spin the tables round. So we basically have 2 and a 2, and it comes into the room by 1.20 meters rather than it just being a metre, and I've got plenty of space here to do that, so that's not a problem. The problem is all the stuff that's on the top of the tables and how I'm going to be able to pull the table out to spin them round, because I have got quite a lot of just stuff underneath the tables as well. So it's not going to be as simple as, oh, just pick the table up, spin it around, move it back, and it's just the sets on top. I've got to fight all the other stuff underneath. Not only is that a issue, the other issue is I actually need to find 8 inches of length to be able to spin the tables round to keep that table there. Now there is a plan in place thanks to Jay's Toy Collections UK's mathematics, because it might have to be swapped with the Kallax, which would then give us more display space underneath. So it'd be swapped basically with one of these, which is a 4 cube, and then obviously I don't put the dividers in, so we have this display up top, display in there, and a display in there, which I think would look very nice just there. It's a little bit more narrow. It means I can bring these tables over and it should then fit. So there's a lot to do. So this is going to be in a almost like a 3-part stage really. Stage 1 is what we're going to be doing now by getting the table spun round and just throwing the sets back, but keeping the Jurassic Park tables empty. Display 2 is to then put, yes, the train track going down, which is going to be rather interesting with switch tracks and all of that kind of thing, and more than likely adding in the Kallax as well. And then when the sets come out, we can then make the display. So it's going to be a rather interesting couple of weeks in here with regards to me doing all of this for a Jurassic Park display, but it has been a long time coming. Now you might have noticed, if you watched the last upload, all of this is looking quite nice. The orange dragon is going to be up on a clear flight stand as such, so it's well away. There's a huge gap between the dragon and the Stranger Things. There's lots of breathable space, make some nice paths and all that kind of thing, and it should look really nice. But I need the space, so what I'm probably going to have to do is start putting some sets on these tables and maybe put those 2 sets back to back, which will be a little bit annoying. But I think that's going to be the better way to do it, because obviously we've pulled the Batman stuff out. I have to get this table off and out the way to then have enough space to start pulling one of these tables round. So I've got to try and clear really a table, because if I can clear one table on to this table, I should be able to pull the table round and then move the sets again, pull the next table around, move the next sets, and then the last table should be free, and that should turn on itself. Because if I pull this table out and bring it forward, the next table comes out this way and goes there. That then has that table at the top where the loop coaster's on. That should then just drag round, and that goes into that far corner. And then this one should just pull up and go behind it. That is, I think, the best way of doing it. But you've got so much stuff underneath the tables as well. So there's some Lego boxes and things and other bits and pieces I've just not been able to clear up with being so ill for a long period of time. And we are now where we're at. So what will happen is there'll be plenty of time lapses, there'll be all sorts of other little bits and pieces, but I have to get this cleared first. So I don't know what the safest option is. I don't know whether just to move the Batman over to that bit so it's just safe and out the way, which to be honest isn't going to be a bad idea, because then we'll have the ceiling height for the Daily Bugle and the Avengers Tower to go back to back. I think would go there, so that's those two. And then we've got the Doctor Strange. And then that table's clear. So maybe that's the way to do it. Just figured that out on the fly. Right, we'll do that then. So we will plonk you somewhere which is going to be safe and sound. Obviously, we move a lot of the bits and pieces in this room, but this really is a big move because of the stuff that's underneath. I do want it looking as neat and as tidy as possible. So when I can actually get this table up off the floor, I'll probably then just end up turning the camera off and get underneath these tables, because if you remember, for the whole month of January this table's been here. For the second half of February I've been building all the Bricklink designer stuff and everything like that as well, so I've just not had any opportunity whatsoever to be able to do anything. I wonder if I can just safely, if I put those gates there, can I get them back out? Because I don't know if those gates can actually stay on that table or not. I think they might. If I put those gates over here so they're safe, and then we can come straight back off and over in the next upload, because when the track goes down, this is also quite important. So that is safe and sound, so that's okay. So I think because we've got 4 or 5 base plates of space there, I'm hoping we can just do it table by table, because this is broken. This this set here is a bit poorly, and I don't want to break it any more than what it already is. So they're the minifigures for that there. I just want this drop down. If I can get the Joker Manor and the cars as well, that would be fantastic. And because we're going to have more space, it does mean that we might be able to get another landing. So like we've done here, where we've just got like the little Jurassic Park bit, so we've got the black wrapped around the blue, and it's all going to make sense when the paths and everything go down. We might have that opportunity again now on the other side of the table. Now I already know that there is going to be a bit of a hiccup in a future upload, and that future hiccup is going to be the Disney Castle. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take the top of the Disney Castle off and have the long crane and diggers around it like it's been put back together. And that is the only way I think I can display it. Otherwise it's too tall and it has to go, it just can't stay in here. Because where it is at the moment is at the highest point of where that can actually be. Totally broken. And yeah, it's not ideal, nor is this. So I don't want this to snap. No, it has, fair enough. I didn't want to do that, but it's done it. But this is going to have its own display, standalone display from other bits and pieces. I think that is the plan. So I don't really think I'm going to have the space for anything else. And I'm doing all of this, and I'm assuming that that is 8 inches apart from there. I think it is, so we should be eyeballing that. I think we should be okay, but I will get the tape measure out when I can get to it, because it's actually over on that bit. Now this table, where I'm putting all of this stuff, is actually where I think the red roller coaster is going to have to live, because there's no other place to put it. So that's going to be okay. So we can just have the red roller coaster living over here. That is not sitting on there very well at all. There we go. Just don't want to drop it or break it. Oh, I don't know if that's going to be enough space. We'll see. We will see. We will see. I'd have enough space if this table wasn't on here. Let's put this onto the floor, aren't Yes. I really am going to have to make the most of every single stud that I have available, because it's going to be very, very tight. Once we've moved the first table, I am hoping, massively hoping, we'll be living the dream and we'll be okay. But until that point, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm not going to lie. I'm not very sure. Now, I'm hoping this is going to move as well, because, oh, it's a big thing. Fantastic as well. It's beautiful on the back end. So I've moved this now 4 or 5 times today on that stand. Playing with fire with that one, that is for sure. Right, vehicles out the way. That is all to do with Batman. Batman will get TLC, don't worry. It will get the TLC it needs. And with the rumours of Arkham Asylum as well, you know full well that there'll be a nice different display coming with that. That is that one. That is that one. That is that one. Those 3 are with that set. So that is actually all the Harry Potter stuff together now, which is good. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to move this table. Oh, fantastic. Soon going to get back in the way again, but I don't know whether to use that and move the legs on the other one or vice versa. So let's see what we can do. Magic. Like something on that, I don't know what it was. Right, so that is there. And the fact that I know all of that already has to come off for me to be able to make that work is going to suck. Basically, it's going to be a rough one. But if I can just, he says, just move the Avengers Tower and the Daily Bugle, just carry it over the loft hatch and don't drop it down there. That would be fantastic. I mean, it would be. I still think that is the better way to do it, because that way I don't have to pull the other one off out the loft hatch. But you can see what we're trying to achieve with all the modulars underneath for our modular maze and different things like that. So it is a bit chaotic at the moment. I know we sort of go 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4, 5 steps forward again when these new displays start to come in. But if I didn't have this problem with the angle to the roof, it wouldn't really make a difference at all. Now, before I'm stupid, I'm going to put all of these cars and the bikes that I put on the floor right beside you, because I know exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to stand on them and break them, and that would suck. So, right. Well, I know for a while I haven't got a problem with the ceiling height there, because it should go straight in. The only thing, I can't remember the last time I actually picked this set up. Dragged it around plenty of times, but I honestly can't remember. Right, you can see the disaster that might happen. I'm going to be clever. And we're going to take these up, so I can just slide it on and it doesn't get caught. If you want to know how that display all came together, just watch the upload before this one and you'll see it for yourself. Ooh. Come here, you. But I am on a bit of a tight time schedule, because I need to get these sets back and out the way so I can actually carry on with, oh dear, so I can actually carry on with this bit. Because when the new Ninjago set arrives, because it's on its way, I want to get that built and get that in. So I don't want these sets. I don't want these sets in the way. Now, I think I'm going to have to put that at the front. Yeah, it's the Daily Bugle. That's in the way. That's in the way. Because the Daily Bugle will want to collapse. Daily Bugle go next. See just how big these sets are though, look. That's all the space you get straight away for those. But we will get a little bit more ceiling height, all going well, with this change. So I hope this is all worth it. I'm being a bit stupid. That needs to go over because they won't fit side by side, will they? Display these together all the time, and I didn't think about that. Ow. Oh, there we go, come on. Just go there. There we go. Okay, we've got plenty of space now. That is good. Plenty of space. It's quite nice against the red. We can enjoy it against the red for the first ever time. I've never been against here. That'll be the first ever time. This is a thing. Right, Daily Bugle is going to go where the tower was. This one's a lot more, we'll say, delicate, shall we, than the Avengers Tower. Got Ghost Rider hanging on for dear life. What I can get. Can I get that in between? That's what I could. What have I got? See. Oh, just give us a couple more studs of space. That would be fantastic. Of course, I am off. Oh, am I? Yes, I am going to be off by one stud. I'm off by. That is it. One stud. I'll get it in. I can't. Oh, did not want to do that. Get it in. Now it should go in. Right, they're pushed to the back, and I've got two base plates if I need them for stuff at the front. But that's what that looks like, all nice and red, just like my face. And this is where this is going to. So I think what I'll do is I'll put all the road and everything with that. Yeah, I'm just going to have to be clever because I think that'll be the last to go on. And I'm just going to have to keep moving. When the table moves, is then just slide it across to this table and then slide it back. So all this stuff is going to have to move more than once. And then the real interesting thing is going to be that red coaster, because that has to go on this table. So what might have to happen, again I'm just thinking this out loud, is when some of the tables start to spin, might have to commit and actually put that over to this side. And I'm going to have the coaster facing forward this way. I think that'll be a nice looking thing, and then we can create some bits and pieces in front of it. Obviously, we do that as a separate upload, but because it's so big and it sort of straddles across, well, width-wise, it's full width. It's a width and a half of a table, so it is really big. I kind of need to spin this onto one table and keep it on the one table as it comes around. So I might have to spin the red coaster onto this table and pull that out with this, and basically then make it up as we go from there, because it's not gonna be that straightforward. But what will be straightforward is when the tables when the tables are done and the marble stuff gets put back, it then means I can just have all the marble in a straight line. So the X-Men mansion will go at the end. So that'll be a nice looking thing, I think, when that is all done. Got to think about what colour we are going to use the road tiles for that as well. But so far we've moved stuff. I've not yet dropped anything, so that is a first for me. So we're not doing too bad so far. Hopefully, he says, if there's nothing on the floor, it wouldn't take that. Well, yeah, it would take a while, but it wouldn't be horrendous. But because there's lots of stuff on the floor, it's going to take forever. But I might have to get some tubs and just throw them in the tub, so we might have to go for a little bit of a road trip at some point. I don't think there's any other way. I don't think there is any other way. So if I pulled this out completely, I pulled this out as far as it will go to here, so it went all the way over, that one went all the way over. I could then just spin that round in situ and pull that one straight forward, and then just put these in place without having to move these twice. Because that way this one would go in first, and then this one would follow and go in second. I think that might be the answer. That might, he says, be the answer, but I've got to think of what I am going to do with like the Disney section, like this kind of stuff. Am I gonna keep it, or is it gonna go? Is the Disney castle gonna find a new home? Is that gonna get sold, or is that gonna stay? There's a couple of uncertainties, but because we're gaining, not losing any table space, and we are gaining a little bit of table space over here, it should just all go back. But it just depends if I want them in those locations. See, now I've just pulled that table all the way out, but this is where I'm going to turn the camera off, see what horribleness is underneath this table, because we've got Lego box and stuff on there, we've got a Lego tub on that one, but I don't know what's underneath this one. So I can see some Christmas crackers. They're obviously not, they're not exactly ideal for what we're doing now. But do I pull that out with the red coaster on it or not? Because this gap is 80. So it's going to be 60 when that table comes in, which is fine. Still plenty of space. So it'll be 120 instead of a metre. Yeah, it's 1. So it'll be 120. So to be honest, there's been a box there the whole time that I've just moved. And that box would have been bigger than 20. So you're not going to really notice the floor space. The one thing I could potentially do, I don't know if it would fit, is if I wanted the space back, I could potentially spin that table around and push that table back if it would fit. Because I have had that table the other way. But you get more floor space this way, and I don't want to move them. as in I could keep it that angle and just push it against the back wall. That'd be easy enough. I can keep all the stuff on it, but I don't think we'll gain, don't know if we'll gain enough, because we've got a bit there, we've got a bit on the other side, and there's a bit behind it, but I don't think you're gonna get a full-blown meter. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna put this on here, and we're gonna commit to this thing on here, because this is enormous. So just to try and move this, it's gonna be well, that's what we've got. How big it is. It's huge on this table, but we will have a nice display in front of it, and it will look and almost, it would look and link to the mythical stuff quite nice, I think, because we'll have over half a base plate full length to add swings and that kind of thing in. Now really there's actually only 3 sets left on these tables. They're all minifigures which I can put in the bag. Those bags can just go in the box, and those boxes can move out. Because really, ideally, I wanted to pull that one out first, so I'm not crawling underneath the tables, but I've got no other choice. So I'm going to make a bit of space, pull this table out, so you're not going to miss much. There's no point even doing it as a time lapse. I'll just film myself moving this stuff in case it breaks. I'll double check to make sure that is 8 inches gap first, so we know that that will go. I have got a bit of wiggle room that side if I wanted to anyway, so that's not a problem, because I can go a train track's width underneath that before it loses any space anyway. Because if you notice, the actual track that overhangs this set is underneath that table anyway, so it's not a problem. But yeah, there's four sets on this table. Plenty of sets on that one, and there's a load of nonsense on there. Right, leave it with me, and I'll see what else I can achieve. Struggling for space doesn't even come close. So I'm stood behind this table. I can't actually get this table out enough to do what I was originally going to be doing, so I'm now going to have to change everything. So I'm going to try and pick up all the minifigures, obviously, because they're just all from shorts and just other bits and pieces that I found. They're going to go in a bag. Then I think I'm going to try and just pick this table up and spin it round on itself, and actually then spin this table round and have the 2 back to back here. And then what I'll do is have to pull the Disney table out completely, because that's how it actually went in, and then sort of walk it the long way around, which is what I didn't really want to do. But I think if I can pick this one up and spin it round, get that one spun round, that one then should have enough space to spin round where it is. Because I should hopefully be able to push it underneath the table a little bit just to bring it round, so that one tuck into that corner, and then this one probably could then just go forward, and that one can go underneath, because it's really difficult with how the legs are, because there's all sorts of stuff in front of them. I'm having to pull all the stuff out from underneath the table, move the table, then I've got to put the stuff back, because some of it is Lego instructions, it's just other little bits and pieces, so I just haven't got anywhere to put that stuff at the moment. But I've got to be very, very careful with this table to how I can actually get it to move around, because if I can spin this one round and spin the other one round, we will know exactly what is what. But I have just thought something which could be a bit of a nightmare. The back table won't fit. Bugger. Because I haven't got enough length that end. That table needs to be... I'm going to have to go forward. I'll just go forward straight underneath and just lose a little bit at the table, and then pull that at the table out last. I've got no other choice, but I don't have any floor space. Because ideally, where the loft hatch is where if I could just put a table there, I could easily move them all around, but I'm actually physically going to have to pick the table up, spin it, and then put the table back down again. So I need to get rid of that. I think it might fit on the other table. I think if I was to clear all the minifigures off, move that one over, push that over to the side, I think we should be okay. And then I can, like I said, just pick this table up and spin it round, so I can see roughly where it goes, and then just use the other one as a guide, so I can just see how wide it is. it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. But when it's done, it's going to look amazing. But this is really, really difficult. So I will film what I can when I've got a bit of a better plan. But it's going to take me a little while to pick up all those minifigures. There's no point doing that as a time lapse, that'll just be boring. So I'll get them all up, clear it all off, try and get that table onto there, and then I will film myself hopefully picking this one up and spinning it round. But I will have to get a tape measure to see what the gap is, because worst case I'm going to have to pull that one all the way out, and I've got more space there because you can see this table isn't as far as that, and I should then be able to slot at least one of the tables behind it, and then maybe just spin that one round. So yeah, it's a bit of a headache because no matter where you put something is now in the way. So I cleared the table off, cleared the table from underneath, started putting the stuff in the storage boxes and things, and now that storage box is in the way. I need that floor space, and I've got nowhere to put that storage box, and I need it up here to carry on clearing up all the other little bits and pieces. Because you can only get under one table at a time because of how it is. And I'm going through the side, it's a little bit easier because I can actually reach the stuff from the legs. But that is my problem, not yours. I will keep having a mess around and a play, and see how far we get by the end of the day today. Right, first one is done. That wasn't too bad. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky because I've now got to move bits and pieces again, because this table is obviously the easier one to pull out and then go forward. That one gets pushed forward, so that's then the back table. That one just gets dragged over, and then this one just basically spins round to where I'm stood now. So that's going to make my life a little bit easier, but I'm going to have to pull this out and curve it round. And those bits and pieces are okay, but the problem I've got now, of course, is the ceiling height, because I'm going to have to try and get all of that onto this table and this table, which you would think it should be easy enough, but I'm going to have to put the red coaster over here and hope it fits with the ceiling height, because the loop coaster has to go there or not. So it can't go over there. It's going to have to go basically where the red one is. And then when all the tables are in, we can have a big swap around. But that loop coaster is going to be an absolute nightmare to shunt, I think. So I think what we'll do is we will get the it depends how am I going to do it. So I can't reach the red roller coaster from here, so it needs to be the same. It needs to be the same way I've done this, but I don't think it will work because it won't fit on the tables. So I was just going to throw that in that corner and then put the red one beside it, but it's not going to fit. This is the joyfulness of having these huge sets. They can literally only go in a certain amount of places, and it will catch you out very, very, very quickly. But we've got a game plan with regards to how to pull the other table round. I just haven't got nowhere to put this Ghostbuster Firehouse. I have nowhere to put it. I don't know what I'm going to achieve by even moving this, to be honest. Because that is on there. The table's wobbly. All the legs need to be readjusted because there's a carpet underneath some of that as well. So now I can reach this red coaster. I need to pull the red coaster back here. In case you're wondering, it is sun damaged on the back, but it doesn't matter. I could replace all those pieces over a long, long period of time, but to be honest, it doesn't bother me at all. Red coaster has to go over. Then I can put the loop coaster over. Firehouse was how it was, and then because all of that fits on the table. because I can't just pull this one out and around with all the bits and pieces on. This one should, he says, be the easiest one to pull when it's empty, but I can't do it with all those bits and pieces on. I could attempt it, but I don't want to damage the Loop roller coaster, so I'd rather pick it up and move it about. But I don't know how to. I haven't got enough length to reach anything. Story of my life. I don't know if this is going to work, because I can't. Where I'm stood, there's stuff obviously there, but I don't know if I can now swing this back round on itself. Basically, we can hope for the best, but I don't really think it's the best of ideas. But I haven't really got any other option, I don't think. That's a big red coaster coming over. Will it go? And please just swing, 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 swing. Because of course, we're right by those plugs as well, which you can't see, but there are some plugs sticking. What is that? Oh, that can go away. Right, it's on. Safely, it's on. Fantastic. What do I drop? That web. So that can come back up. So there we go. It squeezes on just. Right, so I need to put this camera in pieces. I know exactly what that belongs to, so that's okay. Now we've freed up another boiling up now. Freed up another. Well, it's not even freeing up another table, it's just playing the game with a triangle. So that then goes to there. And I've got bags and bags of minifigures ready to be put out on display, which is going to be rather exciting. Can't get the Loop coaster out from that position. I want that to be the first. I wanted that to be the first thing to come out, but not done this very well. I've been a bit of a spanner. I'm going to get another bag to put the rest of. I wasn't expecting to do it this way. To put the rest of the figures in, because there's even more the other side of the Haunted Castle that I completely missed. And then we'll move. I'll move all those sets over with you, and then I'll clear some floor space, pull the table around, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we will try and continue. So it's still the same day. I've just had some food, spilt it all over me, hence why I'm now in a different coloured hoodie. But I think this table, I'll put you there. I think this table is okay. And I have just thought that I'm going to have to move that all again to drag the table up. So it's just a very, very horrible, very horrible game. But you get the idea of what we are trying to do now, hopefully. And fingers crossed, I can just pull this one out simply and safely enough. Now, what I want to try and do yeah, table sticking out enough so it shouldn't hit the roof. That's my only concern. What I don't want to do is pull this out, turn around and spin it, and it's going to be a right swine. And the other thing that I don't like is how difficult this might be to move. But this will be the last table I move with you, as in the stuff that I move with you, because it's just going to be very, very repetitive. You can see how many times I've got to do it. And then I'll catch back up with you once I've moved all of this another 3 or 4 times and the table's back in situ. And then we can start doing the fun stuff. But I don't like, it's got so much weight on this one side. I am terrified it's going to snap off. Because I can't really move about. Oh, I will do that. I've got to be really careful. Ooh. Right. So, if you were to look at this just as a standalone table perspective, this is going to be part of the Jurassic Park display. That is the rest of the space we have with the one table. And then the next one will go beside it. So yeah, having it like that now in the light, it actually allows us to see just actually how much space there is, because it's very, very difficult to see when it's mixed up with, well, all of these little bits and pieces as well. So I'll be walking around them behind you now. So the next thing to go onto that table will be the haunted house. We'll put that up next. And I've found so many minifigures, it's just ridiculous. I really do need to get all those minifigures out on the display. I've got bags and bags of them, so we can soon start filling the displays up as we go. And then that is a nice set, that one. Just how small it is compared to the Disney Castle. But it does fit, they do fit side by side. But they look good like that. But I can't do it because I can't come a base plate away from the table on the outer edge. Otherwise I could have displayed it like that, and I probably would have, because I think that looks really smart with those two side by side, but I can't do it, which is a little bit, well, I could never have done it, which is a little bit of a shame. And now it won't work for the new plan, so that's what I keep telling myself. This is a lot of work, but the second these tables get spun round and we have more room to play with and everything else, will be we should be living the dream, all going well. He says. Anyway, that's how optimistic I am being about this. It could be an absolute utter disaster and not work. That won't be the first time that's happened. I've done plenty of stuff that I've actually ended up deleting because I ended up having to put it all back because it was just a complete waste of time. But we will see how this goes. I've still got all these smaller little funfair stuff that I think will go in front of the red coaster now. I think that'll be really nice thing to, sort of a nice thing to do. And finally we can actually make use of the bench with all the artwork and stuff on it, because I've got all of those. So it does mean we can make use of all of that stuff, which is great. There's even more Lord of the Rings minifigures there, so they can go with the others that I found in the Harry Potter stuff. This thing's never going to get repaired, ever. And to be honest, I now have no idea where this thing is going to go either. I think it almost wants to go close to Disney Castle, to be honest now. If the Disney Castle idea of... The Disney Castle can actually move all the way over onto that table, or onto whatever's going to go there. This, the carousel, could go with it. Potentially, because it's a beautiful thing, but it's massive. Absolutely massive. And it does that all the time, see? It just keeps falling apart. I think I've just taken another 3, yeah. And because how you build it, you can't just slot those bottoms back on. You literally got to strip the whole thing down. So until it's got home, it can literally take itself apart. Right, so that's moved. I've got 1 or 2 bits and pieces to go onto that table. I am now just hoping to pick this up, turn it, literally put it beside this one, and then get it to where it needs to be. Drag that one forward, then drag that one to where this one literally is, and then just have this one beside it, and then that's your 4 tables facing the right way. So I've got 2 facing the right way at the moment. So the back row's done. I just need to lift it up and hop it over, which means all of that stuff's going to have to come off, and obviously all of that stuff's going to have to come off, which I might do on a different day, and I'll catch back up with you on that one. But let me get this table spun round and actually in the correct place, and then what I'll do is I'll move that stuff from that table onto this table, and then get that one in the correct place, and then I'll catch back up with you with regards to what starts to go where, because I've got a little bit of space I'm going to have to make, but not too much. So you've got all the Star Wars stuff down there. I've got to be careful that I don't drop a box onto it or kick something over onto it. We were so close to having this room ready, and now look at it. It'll be good fun. It'll be good fun. Right, waffling. Get this moved, and then I'll catch back up with you when it's in. 2 down, 2 to go. And that actually went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to. I didn't actually have to take the roller coaster off or the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I just crawled underneath the table and started to push the legs and lifted it up with my head, which was nice. Now, can you remember when I picked it up at the very, very start and spun the table round? You saw it change. This is my luck, okay? So I am polar opposite to anybody that actually has luck. This is an old CD rack. The leg somehow was in between it. So for me to get that out, actually got to lift the whole thing up. So that can stay there for a while, and I'll just pretend that that never happened. So that is exactly the kind of thing that I do on a daily basis. Don't even mean to do it, it just happens. Now I have found all of the other instruction booklets. I've got the Colosseum booklets, got some other bits and pieces all up in there, found some DVDs and magazines. And the cool thing is I have found Lloyd when they become zombies, which is pretty cool. So look forward to opening up that minifigure and having a little bit of a play with it. Now, next thing I need to do is pull this table over next. Now I'm hoping that should be easy enough to do to a bugger. About to say to a point, but that CD rack is actually going to stop those tables from connecting. So what I'm going to have to do is take all this stuff off the table, slide those 2 over, lift that up, pull that CD rack out. Fantastic. Potentially just leave it somewhere, because this is actually quite handy at the moment, because I've worked out a nice crawling space, I've worked out a nice walking space, and then that's just not fun. But before I do that, we're now talking inches. Now we know the magic number is 8. Get your minds out the gutter. We can all dream and wish. But where is it? Oh, is it the other one? Bugger. I've got the tape measure in the box, and that box I've taken down. So what I need to do, this is how messy everything is I'm going to go and get this tape measure, and I'm going to measure from this tabletop to the loft hatch to see if we have to go that way anymore. And when we're at its limit, I can then stop going that way. I don't know where this was originally, because there was, I don't know if I got this kissing the wood. I don't think I did, because obviously these base plates are overhanging anyway. But these 2 tables, this is the Jurassic Park display. I think we're going to do the Jurassic Park display that way. It's either going to be this one and this one, or it would be the front 2. Not 100% sure yet. I think it's going to be these, and this is just its own. It's just its own island. So we've got we've got obviously the 4 corners, the long length. The gates can just be angled off, The coaster will be on the left hand side, so that'll be okay. So it'll be nice to see all of it. And obviously when these tables are clean, or clear shall I say, we'll actually be able to see the area that we've got. And I have found a load of minifigures that are on the floor. Some of these I've not seen in ages. Again, they're from shorts that have been knocked down and whatever else. So yeah. Tape measure. See what we're doing with regards to the space. I want to get the tables in, and then when they are in, I'm going to crawl underneath and give all of this a really good tidy, because then I can actually sort the walkway out, pull the stuff out into the walkway, go through it all, and recycle, sort out, do. It's just stuff that falls down the back of the table, and you can just never reach it. But with regards to the Disney castle, it can only go on this table. So I'm going to take this off, move that onto this table, lift it up, get the CD rack out, push the stuff back, pick that up, and then bring it over onto this table and go from there. Because there's no way I can drag that table with all of that stuff on it. I think the route is clear though. I think now the hard bit's been done. I think that route is clear. But I won't do any of that until this has been measured. Right, tape measure, measure it. I'll let you know what's what. And then hopefully we can get these other two in situ today. And then we'll start tidying up tomorrow. Right, I have found it. So this is actually quite important now, because not only do I need to know if the leg will fit, which I think it will do, I've just got to be careful that the top of the table doesn't overhang the hatch. Otherwise I'll end up cracking my head on it every single time I come through. So the magic number is 1 meter at the moment. So you can look at the pain on my foot. I can't hold. I literally can't put you anywhere else. So if I go, that is the hatch. Where are we at? We are at 112. 1 meter and 12 we've got. So the table's 1 meter, and it's 9 centimeters. Yeah, so it's 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches from the outer part of the leg. That's with a little bit of extra just in case, to the edge of the table. So that should be absolutely fine, because it's not gonna overhang, because the table itself's only 1 meter. So this one should spin round and go. This is going to be the hard one, because I'm going to have to literally pick this up like a pizza, spin it round, and then put it down, because it won't have the wriggle room. So at least that will fit. There is a magic number for something else as well. The problem is, oh, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I will measure from the hatch. You're coming with me. So we're going to start literally here. You can see a tape measure come out of nowhere now. So we're going to go to there. That is 30 inches is the number. How big is the Kallax? Because I can't remember. So now we've got to crawl all the way over here. I'm crawling under a table, by the way, as we're doing this, over a loft hatch as well. So this could go wrong. How big is this? Because am I going to have to shimmy? That looks like it's 30 to me. I'll actually try and measure that. Perfect. Which I can't, because the minifigure's in the way. I'll just measure it this way. Come on, stay stiff, stay stiff. Oh, I don't know. Oh, that is going to be tight. So the loft hatch is 30 inches. I think that double Kallax is that big. In fact, there's one right in front of me. Why don't I just use that one instead? What a plum. This is a 4, but it's a 2. So it'll be the same chunkiness. Wrap that round. What a pleb. So yes, that is 30 inches or 66 and a bit centimeters, depending on which way you want to look at it, plus the extra little bit from there. So that should slot in. So the plan is to put, like I said, a Kallax here. It's going to be off ever so slightly. Obviously now we're going to be raised up level with this rather than level with the table. So this will be its own standalone display. So we'll see what that actually turns out being in the end. That is a worry for much later on. So the tape measures trick's done. Right, I'm going to swear a lot now as I get that leg out of that DVD thing and no CD thing or whatever the heck it is, and then move those bits over, pull them back, Disney Castle goes over, and I'll catch back up with you when the third table is in place. I am sweating now. That took about 5 minutes, so that's not too bad. That was me literally underneath the table and I just picked it up with all of that on it. Now I am a bit concerned that I don't know if it's square, because I don't know if it's an optical illusion with regards to it going down and over. I haven't got anything, I haven't got an edge to go off. So I'm hoping it will be okay. I mean, the thing that's going beside it anyway isn't going to be perfect, because it's going to be a different height. But we're flush up to there, so those two are good. This one's high, because the legs are obviously higher, so I'm going to have to crawl underneath and get these down, because obviously all of these were adjusted to be the same height. But no, we're flush on the front, a little bit high at the back, so I just need to raise that back leg down. But, I mean, you can see the sets are all the way to the back of the table. We've got a little bit of space on there. Obviously, some of them won't fit under, because that's always been that problem. But, now the game begins by getting this stuff back over to here, picking up that table, spinning it around and hoping for the best. Now the nice thing is, with these tables spun this way, I can crawl under them easy, whereas the other way around, obviously we've got it's the much narrower legs. Like that, for example, you can't reach through, whereas this, I've now got a big crawl space which I'll probably have in the middle, and then on this outer edge it'll become a display space eventually, because it means I can get 2 cubes underneath. So 4 cubes, sorry. So that'd be quite nice. I can put them underneath there, do a double deep or a triple deep or something, get a real nice display underneath this bit, and I'll measure what can go over there. So this is going to create a lot more under display space, like we started with the modulars. It's always been a plan, but wasn't the Jurassic Park, wasn't in the cards until, well, the news came out that they are going to be doing this amazing dinosaur and a couple of other little bits and pieces. So I need to slide you, I don't know if I can just slide you over, I'm not 100% sure, because it would be rather nice if I could do it carefully. Oh, he says carefully. Drop the whole thing backwards then. Yeah, it probably wasn't the best of ideas, to be honest. That was a bit silly. Yeah, I'm stuck now. That's stupid of me. There we go. So all I wanted to do is just throw them over, spin this round, and I got a slide out for the coaster without having to move everything again. So this loop coaster is going to just go in lengthways that way, where beside it, and then fingers crossed, everything else we should be good, because that's going to be the next thing, which I do basically during the week, because all of this has been done so far on the same day, is I want these two tables clear to a point. But I am going to have a little bit of a problem when the red coaster moves. Oh no, no, actually no, should be okay. Because I just can't put the marble stuff back. So I can't put the marble stuff back until I figure out what's going to go where the suitcases stuff is. And then can kind of figure out all those bits and pieces. So I'll move these sets, spin the table around, put it in, see what space we've got, and then try and come up with a plan of attack for the next couple of days to rotate stuff around if I can to get that red coaster onto that table. So today is a new day. We did manage to get quite a lot of stuff done yesterday. This is literally just going to be an update segment before we move on to a following day. All four of these tables now are facing the right way. I've got all the bits and pieces ready for recycling, which I'm going to take down with me. I am umming and ahhing the best way to do this at the moment, because I want the two tables completely clear before this video ends. I do want the red roller coaster over there to see what it will look like, but I think that move's going to take forever, so I might just do that as a separate upload to see if it will work. The problem I've got is that if I move that over to here, all of this comes over to here. If all of this comes over to here, the Marvel stuff gets stuck over there, which I obviously do not want that to happen. So I can either sacrifice something, which would be the easiest thing to do is the Star Wars, because like I said, we have got problems with the paint. So I've got to sort all of this out, which means it's all going to have to move anyway, but I can't do anything until it decides to finally dry. We've had I think we've had now the first warm couple of days in here where it's been over 10, which is nice. So it's been 10 degrees, which is lovely. So I more than likely just painted it when it was too cold, and it never actually had time to harden off. And then about 6-7 weeks later, it must have got very, very cold in here, and it just bled. So obviously we're going to have a little bit of fun with this, because now the block of cheese is in the way, which means that temporary table will have to go back across, and I need to see if that fits as well. So I think what I'm going to have to do is basically move these minifigures, put them underneath the block of cheese, clear some space, take the base plates off it and just slide it all underneath, and just sacrifice this bit here, because this is a huge space. That will then give me a little bit of wiggle room, because then what I can do is put the shadow box, either the shadow box and the Joker Manor over there out the way, because they're the two at the moment that I'm not 100% sure what is going to be going on with those. Then we've got the Rivendell and other little bits and pieces, which I would like to take a little bit of a look at as well. So I think it will be done in a separate upload. And then what that will allow me to do is then just plonk the Marvel back in. So I think we'll do like a triangle of moving three things, because the Marvel stuff is just going to go back, but obviously the tables are spun round, so I don't know how far back it's actually going to be able to go. I don't know whether to have it at the very, very end of the table here, or have it over here. Now I have got a little bit of it's not a problem, but I can imagine it's going to become one. Is I've got these tables in, they're absolutely fine, they're not overhanging the loft hatch at all, but the gap to get on the ladder is now much, much more narrow than what it was, and I know full well that I might end up knocking something. So I think what I might try and do is move, I'll do it off camera, move all four of these tables up. So I move it a couple of more, because those base plates are overhanging, but I reckon I could get a couple of more inches at this end, and if I lose a little bit at the table, I lose a little bit at the table, because I am almost sure it was a little bit further under, potentially, but because we're going to be running a train track right down the outside, I don't really think it's going to be too much of a problem. So I get one bit of train track out and just put it on there, and if I can move it over a couple of inches, that is exactly what I need. So we're in sort of the fiddly bit with regards to trying to get the tables all level and moving all those little bits and pieces over, and that's why it's just going to take forever to do. But then I want to get the display and everything back, because at the time of this being filmed, we are on the countdown to the new Jurassic Park set arriving. I do want this space tidy so I can actually build, unbox, review and all that kind of stuff. So I'm against the clock. So the next 4 days are now going to be very, very busy just getting a template back together. And then we can see exactly what is going to be going on. But the loop coaster is going to go back straight there. So I think what I can do is just pick the red coaster up and put it across here. So that should be absolutely fine. Loop coaster goes in. Then the gates need to go over. And then that's the 2 sets on there with the clear tables. Have all the bits and pieces and all the other nonsense on here. And then figure out what's going to get sacrificed, because we haven't got that tabletop yet. So I've lost, I haven't lost anything. So I have lost a table, because we're using that as the second Jurassic Park. So we're gaining, the Kallax is going to be extra, and I can't put anything on it because I don't have it. So you can see what the problem is. But I would like, I think, the Marvel going straight back in here, and we should just be able to chop and change it all about. So I will have a little bit of a play as Pumpkin's just come bolting up the loft ladders, and there she is. Yes. Just to see what I can move around and do. If I do this wrong, I'm going to end up moving everything 4 or 5 times. I don't particularly want to do that. I just want it to be a one and done. But all of that stuff has to come off the red coaster to go on. So I think I'm going to have to put the stuff in front of the Star Wars, and basically the Clone Wars display is going to get sacrificed for, it'd just be a couple of weeks of my time, maybe a little bit longer for the uploads for you. And then hopefully by that time the wall will be dry enough so I can actually paint it. Yes, I know, for the 3rd time this year that'll be painted. Right, so I will probably catch up with you guys and girls either tomorrow or later on today, depending on how well the little bits and pieces go that I need to do first. Right, day 3 of 3. We're actually doing 3 days in a row, and I have enough time now to get this finished, which will be great. So all we have to do is get the loop coaster in situ, so that goes back to where it was. The Jurassic Park gates go back there. The T-Rex goes on the table, so we've got a little bit of space. And then I just need to figure out what I'm going to be doing with how far I can move the table over. So it's a double-edged sword, really, because if I move the tables now, and I move them too far, I've got to pull them back. And there's all this stuff on them anyway, so it's not going to make much of a difference when I do it, because it's just me crawling underneath and pushing them, and it's just going to be luck of the draw. But like I said yesterday, I've just got to be really, really careful when I come up, because I've only got that leg to there. So that's not the problem. I'm not going to crack my head on this or anything, but ideally, if I can just move the tables over by, say, that much, so basically that bit comes where the leg is and that bit goes over, which I think I can, that should be more than enough. So I've just got to be a little bit wary. Not so much coming up, it's just coming back down. If I'm holding anything, I don't want to drop it and break it. So to make my life a lot easier, I've got a plan of attack for the next upload with regards to moving 3 big things around as a triangle. And obviously one of those things that are going to be moving is the red coaster. So that red coaster is going to come down here, and that'll be the easiest place for that to go. And then we can just clear those tables off. I'm going to make up a temporary table in the next upload so we can actually put some bits and pieces on there, and then we can just basically rotate everything around. I also had a bit of a mess around with this dragon yesterday, and I think if I took the underside of its belly off, we will then be able to have it raised up between the Stranger Things and the D&D castle. But for now, it can just be wedged over there. So you're going to, I wonder, I'll give you a bit of height. You're going to go there, and I'm just going to hope for the best of what you can see. So, yep, okay, right, game is on. So the red coaster is going to go here for now. And the Ghostbusters Firehouse will come over on this table for now, and that's how that bit's going to end. Loop coaster goes in. and I've just got to drag all those bits and pieces out. Ideally, I could move one of the coasters out the way, but I don't know if I can slide the one past the other, because if I can just spin this one forward, we might be able to get away with it. Now, I have had a little bit of a tidy up. See, this is the problem I don't want to do, is this now, what I'm doing is very tight. So I just want a little bit more space there, especially if I'm going to be reaching stuff on that table. So I think those sort of 2 or 3 inches the other way will make a bit of a difference. Now, I've done a lot of different recycling. There's some tiles of different bits and pieces, and then yes, I just want this bit done. Not that I'm in a rush to get it out of the way, but it's just nice to achieve something, because it's always a bit difficult when you do this and you didn't know if it was going to work or not. But the fact it is going to work now, we're good. I'm really happy with the display behind the camera, so fingers crossed I can just do the rest of them, and yeah, we should be good. Now, as I am thinking out loud, because this is just to remind myself as well, potentially the Disney's going to have a whole new home. I did say about the crane idea, but I might do something different, and that should be an easy enough display. That'd be really neat and tidy. That's just going to go into the table with the Star Wars stuff, and the Disney Castle will fit, and it adds just a bit of height to what is going to be quite flat to the floor. So I think maybe just having that one big thing underneath there could work quite well. So there is a thought process for that. Now, if that goes underneath there, it then means that's freed up the whole table. So I should end up having more space. Now, what I'm going to do with that space, it's up for debate. How far can I? Don't think I'm going to get these both on this table side by side. I think this is very, very ambitious, but I think it'll be safer if that went there, and then we'll see what it does. Yes, it's just a case of trying to work it out as we go. So we will have another table of space, and that Disney display underneath will look quite smart. But there's other little bits and pieces that I just need to think of, like where the carousel is going to go, and just other bits like that. So like the Cheeky Monkey Banana, that will be going in front of this, obviously the red coaster, as will the popcorn, as will this, as will the bench. So it's lots of little knick-knacky bits. But what I was saying before I actually cut myself off is when the Disney stuff gets moved, it then gives us an opportunity to have larger displays with a little bit more space in, so the lands become a little bit more identifiable, like we're doing with the Ninjago, and like we're going to be doing, like we've done with sort of like the black base plates. You can see all of that theming is exactly the same, so when the path and everything goes down, that should be easy enough to see. It's going to look very, very different without this roller coaster as a backdrop to Marvel, but you can see now with how these tables are, it just isn't going to have the space, and I think if this was a standalone with some little bits and pieces in front of it, and we had like an adventure table kind of thing, it would then free up just enough space to either finally display the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set properly and how it deserves to be displayed with enough space, because now the tables are facing the other way, and I'm probably only going to be coming off a base plate and a half with regards to, don't even want to know what that was, with regards to the outer edge, because obviously the Marvel stuff is going to be coming straight over to there. Right, it's not ideal, but that would do as a temporary thing. But then, do I have a Lord of the Rings land? do we have Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, Marvel as the long edge? Do I create like an E shape? So like a capital E, where we've got a long line for Marvel going all the way down the table. Marvel mixed in with a little bit of DC as well. So I have both of them close. Then do we separate the table up, the space that's left, and do we have two separate displays almost as a square, and then we have an identifiable path going to each one of those displays. Now if we did that, that would be where the Harry Potter would then potentially have to move, because that would be more identifiable as a standalone display by itself, means the same thing, rather than the haunted house and, say for example, the Ghostbuster Firehouse. Now I've hit a hiccup. The tables are off ever so slightly. I can't slide. There we go. Oh, hang on. I'm just listening out for the knocks. That is the only thing fantastic about these tables when they're not perfectly level. Like I said, I'm not leveling them up. It's a double-edged sword. I level them all up and then I've got to move them. So if I move them ever so a couple of inches one way or a couple of inches the other, it's all going to have to, the feet are going to have to be completely readjusted anyway. So that's just going to suck and not work. So it's just a case of doing what we can do. Now, I don't want to pick this one up, I just want to be able to spin this around. But I think I am being a little bit ambitious. Right, that is there. And what I need is a bit of track, is what I'm going to need. Maybe I need to do it in this one or the next upload. I think the bit of track is actually down in the box that I moved off camera. I don't think it is underneath. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, we're underneath here. Because at the moment, no, I saw it all yesterday and it's in the other tub. So that will just have to wait, and that will be done in the adjusting table bit, which is absolutely fine. Right, this can go with the Marvel and get brought back maybe later on today if I can just really get my teeth sunk into this. Yeah, hopefully I can, which would be absolutely marvellous. I need a bag for these few Rivendell pieces. I just need a bag to put them in. I don't have to keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm just going to keep doing it because it's just annoying me either way, because I knocked it off and it fell down the loft ladders, and that's not what I wanted to do. And again, I did say in the next upload we're going to have to sacrifice the Star Wars bit. I'm going to put the block of cheese up onto a lack table so it's raised up out the way so it won't hit anything, so then I can just put some sets if I need to underneath, and that just gives us a little bit more wiggle room. I tell you what, with these two, because it's 1.20 m now, not a metre, this is why everything's going to have to be redone, because it's completely different and completely changed with regards to just having that extra bit of length is amazing. Yes, take that as you will, but don't forget, the problem I've always had is the ceiling height. Now this was extremely close to the roof, but now it could almost be pushed all the way to the back of the table before it hits the roof. So what we're going to be able to do with the Avengers Tower, with how far that could go back beforehand, it means we might be able to push the sets a little bit further back and actually have a little bit more play with them, which would be fantastic, because we'll be having a little bit of a mess around with that loop coaster in a short while. But do you think this is a big set as well, base plate and a half. Now I am slightly annoyed because obviously I do this all the time, but when I was messing around with some bits and pieces off camera the day before last, I think it was, I knocked something on the side of this and it had one of the ghosts on, and the ghosts went one way and I nearly fell off the chair and went the other. So I know where the ghost went, but I can't find it yet, which is slightly frustrating. So yes, look at the space we have behind there. Now the T-Rex could potentially go there. How far, out of a matter of interest, how far now can this loop coaster go? Right, we've hit the roof. We've hit the roof. A little bit of table space at the far end, but the track obviously goes over that way, and there'll be the train track there anyway. So with the train track being there, I can utilise the full length of the table. I think it makes more sense with it being pulled back, because I can actually have the camera and things on top of it. And then it's just going to be a case of how or where we get the track layout done. Got to be something underneath this set. I can't remember what it is. I think it's where the boards clip together and it doesn't like to be sealed back. But yeah, I have to find the track and have a bit of a mess around with the corners, or just count the studs. But we'll do that on the next upload. I might have to spin that round just to have the table space, I think. But that's not going to fit, is it? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. I am not moving these again in this video. They'll be moved later on, but for now they can live on the Daily Bugle. Can I get the Ghostbuster fire? Oh, it might. I don't know if the Ghostbuster Firehouse will actually fit in front of the red coaster here, and then oh no, that's not going to go in there because the Disney Castle's massive on the front. That's not going to work, but I want these tables pretty much clear before this upload ends. So that will have to go into that slot. That will have to go into that slot. That gets pulled out. And then the Disney Castle will have to butt up to this one. We'll see. We'll see if I can create the space. Because this is the thing about putting these massive sets together. It gets very, very difficult very, very quickly. But we've got a bit of make a mess until we can get it neat and tidy again. So we'll plonk you there so you can kind of see. At the moment, anyway, you can kind of see what is going on. So that's a little ride. See that little thing with the balloons, and this little thing here, and this little other funfair bit that can all go in front of the... I'm actually quite looking forward to getting all of these in front of the red coaster. Actually being able to see them for the first time properly, which would be great. What I'm not looking forward to doing is moving all that stuff off the table. But we will get there. Right. So haunted house is going to have to move because, well, that's a base plate and this is a base plate, so we can get that. We can work off that rule of thumb. But this is the one at the moment where I am not sure the best location for it. The more I think about it, I did say this in the other upload, I think this could potentially set off the other land nicely, which is the D&D Stranger Things and He-Man and Snake Mountain and all that kind of thing. Adding that into it because it's dark and everything else, I think that would really work. And I think these two sets go together. They complement each other with Ghostbusters, Haunted House, you know, it's that kind of thing. I just don't know if the Ghostbusters work. If it was at the end of the table on over there, it could do. But then we're moving we're basically putting 2.5 base plates in and we're taking out more than that. So something else would have to go over there. I don't really think I've got anything else that can go there. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Right, you can now live on the coaster. Can I just push? Can I just push that bit over onto there? I think I can. I think I can. Ah, these tables not being level though, it's really difficult to move some of these. And you know, I've said it every time I've moved this, a piece has fallen off, and it's about to do the same thing again. And all I'm trying to do is just move it over because of how. Nope. I can't even push that table down enough, I don't think. This could be, I think, a full strip down and rebuild for the base. Because I think it's now, yeah, it is completely kaput. And I don't know how I can actually move it. It can't be that hard, can it? But this is my life. It can't be that hard to do what I've just done. But it always is. Always is. Alright, that's off that table. I was in the way of the camera, then I just realised that you couldn't see, but it's because there's a little tiny lip there, is where it's just gone up. It just wasn't very happy and it didn't like it. Right, that's to do with Marvel, or we'll say now our superhero section. This is to do with that. This is going over with our superhero section to soon go straight back. Ooh, Electro's just gone for a tumble, so you can come over like so. I'm going to have to start using the floor space, I think. Let's get a little bit clever. Here we are, running out of room very, very, very quickly. Right. Marvel. Go with the horror. Right, Marvy bits. Some of them will be kept. Some of them will be used for spare parts. I think that's probably the easiest way of me coming up with this sort of scenario. think the Disney castle is going to move first. I think that's probably going to have to be one of the first things to move. But where it's going, it's not going to help me with regards to space of things. I can utilise this table space actually, rather than putting everything on the floor, and just have this empty. But I need the Jurassic Park gates need to come over here now, so they're here, and the T-Rex needs to come over here. And then, to be honest, just to make my life a little bit easier, I can pull the Disney castle just to the front, and then we'll be done. Which I think is not too bad. We've done a half decent effort. It's going to be an interesting way, after I've done this, of actually getting all of the pieces and all the bits and pieces in the correct bit for the other stuff. Because when... Oh, why? Because on that other table, what you got Batman Rivendell. So I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it as a triangle. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'll figure it out. Oh dear, come on. It does not like getting up this table. Before this goes anywhere else, I'm going to clean this off camera because it is filthy with brick dust in the back. Almost fits. So finally, that's near enough. First time we can see both of the tables. Right, Marvel out of the way. I really have to put those in a bag. Oh, that's embarrassing. There's literally a bag on the floor. So I could have just done that and you wouldn't have had to have worried. So there's one bit. There's another. The rest of them. These in there. Put these bits in there just in case. That's all the bits for that. And now we are living. Oh, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. That can go in the bag as well. Good. Right, there's Europe on here. Somewhere. I don't actually know where that bit goes. So I need to figure that bit out. More minifigures, which will just get distributed to each zone and island as we go. Measuring tape of taping of measure can go there. Rubbish. Battery cases, they will go downstairs. Brilliant. If I can just drop one, so I'll find that later. That goes in my rubbish pile. Right, spare bits to go with the spare pieces. Which is good. That bit. Figure out where that tree comes from. Some back. That's my shorts. Okay. Right. That is all bar a couple of studs and a moving truck. 2 clear tables now ready for the project of Jurassic Park. That is a lot of space. That really is a lot of space. I do really want to grab the other little bit of track just so I know how much I need to move the loop coaster. I know it's going to get changed anyway, it's going to get changed a couple of times, but it would just be nice to have that as a spacer So if I grab a little bit of track just at the front just here so we can see what this project is going to entail, I can then off camera work out how much track I need and get all those bits and pieces ordered. And it's that T-Rex, the gate. It's getting quite exciting now. Right, leave it with me and I'll catch back up with you in a minute. Well, I've just grabbed a single bit of track because that's about the width. And obviously I'm going to have add 2 curves on, and it's going to be coming around the table. So this will probably have to be pushed back and moved around, but at least sort of get an idea of that's where it's going to start. And then it will attach and wrap round, so it might have to be pulled in a little bit more, which means I can actually pull this table that much more. So I think I can actually get, because it's not going to be usable space with stuff on that track, is I can gain 4 inches, which will be helpful, I think, with regards to foot placement and things. So I can move that over 4 inches. So at least now I know that is going to be the case. Because what are they? 4, 5, 6, 8. It's 8 studs. And then obviously the coaster is nowhere near. It can't go anywhere near the back of the table because you've got the overhang of the yellow track. So that'll be good fun and interesting with regards to making all of that work and getting all that all connected up and things like that. So so that'll be done off camera, I think is what I'll do. I'm just going to wiggle them all up by a few inches when I'm tidying up the tables underneath, and it will just make my life that much more easier. Now I need something that is big. It's a big thing. I'm climbing underneath the table. So remember, this was at one point all neat and tidy with the Star Wars stuff. And now, of course, you move something and it turns into an absolute disaster. So I'm going to climb underneath the table without trying to knock everything off. And see if I can, actually while I'm here, I'll take you for a ride. How far is that? Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of wiggling and a lot of moving out to get you shunted over enough, but I think I can. I think it will go. This is how painful it was for me before, just little by little by little. Don't forget the stuff all underneath these table legs. This is always a problem, but are we nearly there? I think we're almost in line. A little bit more. The crack is starting to get further apart, and then but this is what I mean now. Look, the second I move it, look how wobbly it is. See, it's all wobbling off. So now I've done that bit and got that bit in. I'm glad I did it that way, because I would have been annoyed having to readjust the legs twice. That would have not been fun. Not far off now. Right, T-Rex is on its way. So this is the T-Rex that comes with the gates. Now this thing is big enough, and it's always been hard to display because you haven't had the table width, as you can see, by just how big that thing is. But now it looks like a dream because the table is the other way around. And what isn't going to work like a dream is these legs being this wonky and skew width. So I'm going to just have to be careful as I go. And now you can see what I'm going to do for the time off the camera. Pull them all up. That is definitely just going to be just enough for me to do what I need to do. And then I can climb underneath the table and get all those little bits and pieces sorted. It gives more space, hopefully, at the far end. But this is the dinosaur that comes with the Jurassic Park gates. Now the new one is much bigger than this. So I think we need one of them close to the right, obviously, and then the gates we're going to go elsewhere for the track to go through. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. I'm just going to grab those gates again, just so they're on here, and then can start to wrap the video up. At least we have achieved something. Oh, what an absolute idiot. So what I've just done is I've just hit the roof with the Jurassic Park gates, and as I pulled it off the roof quickly, I then hit the Dungeons and Dragons set. So I'm a moron. So I told you that ceiling height is very deceiving. So I'll just end up picking up all the pieces that are on the floor. So that now needs a little bit of yeah, I've broken the roof. Such an idiot. Such an idiot. It's because too much stuff on the floor. Right, so these gates, how would you do it? Do you set them further back onto the table? Would you angle? For now I am, but would you have them sort of angled at the back with the gate slightly open? And then this new huge thing. Oh, it's a meter, isn't it? That's just going to have to be messed around with and played with at a different time, I think. But having these big things in, I think it would look rather cool. I'm going to get all the smaller sets as well. But yeah, we've got loads of space for what we want to do. The track is going to go right to the edge of this table, all the way around the edge, all the way back through. So we've got a good amount of base plates. And obviously the base plates are all going to go down green. So it's going to be base plated and tracked in the next Jurassic Park upload, which will be more than likely the video that follows the next one. So this is the Jurassic Park one. Then I need to tidy up all of these bits and pieces, so I've actually got a little bit of room. Obviously move the tables and everything out over off camera. Get all of these back in situ, just so it's done, because the track hasn't even been ordered yet, so I don't know how many pieces I need. And then what I need to start doing is going back through all the spare bits, because over time the sides fallen off, but they're larger bits, so they've been put on tables or they've been put in boxes and buckets. So I need to go through all of that over a period of time and just now repair all these things that have been moved so many times because I haven't had a home, and I can finally get somewhere. So for this bit, we're done. So that's a big box ticked. Next video that follows this one will be the big move of Red Roller Coaster. We'll be going over onto this table, and I'll try and make some form of display on that. And then everything else is just going to get thrown in so we know where it is roughly. And then the video after that will be the track and base plate for the Jurassic Park land, which I am very excited about. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Comments below, let us know what you think. Should I just go for a full-blown oval all the way around the outside? Do we go straight across the middle as well, so we sort of dissect it into bits and pieces? Do we add some switch track, so you've got a straight line but switch track going through? The track will go through the Jurassic Park gates themselves as well. We could obviously bring the gates right to the front and have them angled here as well, and then the big, to be honest, and then the big dinosaur just goes all the way to the back, which would work. But the only problem with that is then all of the smaller sets I want to get as well might not be seen. Potentially the safest place for that might be in the middle, right in the middle, and you've got all the smaller stuff around the outside like a horseshoe, and then you've got the massive T-Rex behind it, but then the gates would then block the big dinosaur. So there's going to be a couple of bits and pieces that I do need to figure out, but we'll do that as the sets arrive and obviously as the track goes down. So again, one more time, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one.